Episode 23, Benz, the first automobile, Motorwagen, the second story. In the spring of 1886, on the peaceful streets of Mannheim, a cute little dog was basking in the warm sunshine. Since it was a mild spring day, the dog kept yawning and enjoyed a nap. After sleeping for a while, the dog suddenly flinched and sprang up. Although there was nothing around, the dog suddenly started barking loudly as it looked out over the wide street. Then one or two neighborhood dogs began barking, and soon all the dogs in town joined in. As all the dogs barked, their owners found it strange and looked out toward the broad public road where the barking was focused. Soon people began to hear small, rhythmic, explosion-like bangs. In the quiet town, the noise was quite irritating to people's ears. From far down the public road, a small three-wheeled vehicle appeared. That tricycle was none other than the Motorwagen Model 2, equipped with Benz's petroleum engine. After developing and patenting the Motorwagen, Benz was conducting test drives to evaluate the petroleum engine and the vehicle itself. The residents of Mannheim had only ever seen large steam vehicles constantly belching black smoke from chimneys. Benz's Motorwagen was about the size of a typical horse-drawn carriage. Despite the annoying bang-bang noise it made, Benz's Motorwagen seemed magically fascinating to the people. Some faint-hearted women were startled by the small, fast-moving motor wagon. Thus, Benz passed by under the full attention of the townspeople and their dogs. People stared at the motor wagon as it disappeared in the distance, thinking, "There really are strange things in the world," and then quickly forgot about it. However, as they began to see Benz's motor wagon almost every day, they started calling it the Iron Donkey. Benz's testing was a form of road test that every modern automobile company now performs before launching a new vehicle. At the time, Benz made several improvements during these tests, especially to the Motorwagen's wheels. Because of poor road conditions, the Motorwagen's bicycle-like wheels were easily bent or damaged as speed increased, leading to more spokes and cross-bracing. In this way, Benz continued improving the Motorwagen by correcting various defects. Meanwhile, Benz, welcomed daily by all the town's dogs, regularly brought his rather annoying bang-bang sound to the otherwise peaceful village. On warm afternoons, when all the dogs in town began barking again, the villagers instinctively knew the Iron Donkey had returned. From afar, the irritating sound of the Iron Donkey began to echo. Among those who heard the sound, a few hot-tempered individuals ran toward Benz. Unable to tolerate the noise, they shouted at Benz. Some threatened to smash his vehicle if he didn't stop the noise immediately, while others warned him never to return with his invention. The people did not hesitate to threaten and warn him, even blocking his path to hinder his progress. But Benz ignored their words and skillfully maneuvered through them as if performing a stunt. Since the Motorwagen's steering was gradually improving at the time, Benz was able to easily turn and avoid the people. However, the public's complaints only grew louder. Eventually, unable to endure it any longer, the citizens reported Benz to the Mannheim police for the loud noise his Iron Donkey made. At first, the police tried to appease the citizens and send them home, but that only worked for a few days. As complaints poured in daily, the police eventually summoned Benz to the station. In the late spring of 1886, Benz responded to the police chief's summons and visited the station. He entered the chief's office and greeted him politely. However, the police chief exploded in anger the moment he heard Benz's name. He yelled that because of the strange cart Benz was driving, called the Iron Donkey, complaints were coming in every day to the point where police work was being paralyzed. Benz apologized and tried to defend himself. He explained that many types of vehicles, including horse carriages, steam cars, and gas-powered vehicles, traveled the public roads, and that his was merely a bit louder. But the chief had no interest in such explanations. He insisted the issue was the citizens' discomfort and warned that if Benz drove the iron donkey around again, he would be arrested and the vehicle confiscated. Indecisive by nature, Benz could not argue with the chief's firm stance and quietly left the office. Although the police warned him not to test his vehicle in Mannheim anymore, Benz paid them no heed. He continued to drive around the city, carrying on with his experiments. Seeing this, the police could not hide their displeasure. They felt indignant, thinking, "Oh, really? Look at this guy ignoring us." From then on, a real standoff began between Benz and the police. The police began stopping and inspecting Benz's Motorwagen every time they saw it, using every means to obstruct him. Unable to bear the police interference any longer, Benz struggled with his thoughts until one day he suddenly made up his mind and went out.